You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Lieb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at liebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Hey, everyone in, let's go. Huddle up on 3. 1, 2, 3, huddle up.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
The Eagles will keep the offense out there in a 4th and goal from the 1.
You want Philly food?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on. Here we go.
I would feel better at this point taking the 3 points.
Here we go.
And if you make it, it's great. But if you don't make it, it's a big momentum swing.
Philly special. Ready? Here we go.
Goes directly to Clement. Clement reverses it. And it is a touchdown by Nick Foles.
Let's go.
Russian 3, dropping 8. Uiagalelei steps up, loads and throws. It's caught. It's pitched backwards, up in the air. It's on the ground, still in Clemson's hands. And now it is down. It is over. And the Irish have knocked off #1 Clemson.
And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
We did it our way, baby. We did it.
Welcome, everyone. Huddle Up Podcast, Tuesday night, October the 19th, 2021. We're glad to be with you. Only 2 of us here right now. One of the other familiar faces may be joining us at some point. We will see as time goes on, but for those that are with us, we are glad you are. Give us a like and a share if you are joining us live. Make sure you're following us on social media. We're at Huddle Up Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. Instagram is at Huddle Up Pod. You can, of course, subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube as well. Student of the game, Kyle Effin Nash, with us as just about always, as long as we're not talking baseball, right, Kyle?
I mean, listen, that's if you want me on for baseball, that's at your own risk, bud. You know,
it's scary enough when I try to talk baseball. I won't subject the listeners to you doing it as well.
I'll put it this way, man. Listen, you take a risk every time dropping that damn Mike Tirico call of the game that is now, 2 years old? So, I mean...
A year old, not even a full year old. Thank you very much. It was the beginning of November.
Oh, that's right.
Let me have that.
You know, you're right. That's completely my bad. I forgot that last year was the year of the mercenary, where you were the superior force in the ACC. Boy, am I glad to hear less and less about them.
Come after me.
Yes,
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You are a man. Having me on every time to endure the risk that I will talk trash on your intro once again, as I write yet another letter to you to get my library at Shawshank. But hey, I mean, while we're on the topic, of course, I do miss everybody's favorite AJ Hawk stand-in in Mr. Matt there. He's probably going to get some fresh cigars to keep the dream alive. But yeah, Family Man EJ Christian, but is his missing really that big a deal? Oh, no, he did. I mean, I know why he's not here. It's because his Patriots lost to your Cowboys this week.
Exactly. He's hiding. He's hoping I forget about that by the time he joins in with us, and I will not do that. What's up, Devin, joining along with us live? We appreciate that as always.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Kyle, let's jump right into it. And this is something that I'm kind of going to snake from EJ a little bit on his. I don't know if it's his weekly with you or if it's his football week, whatever weekly thing he does, that I think he brought this up as a potential topic. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea, because, we're gonna inevitably talk about these things anyway when we get to the college football playoff rankings. So why don't we beat the committee to the punch?
Boom.
A couple of weeks early, because the first rankings don't come out for a few more weeks. So we're gonna do our top 6, because let's be honest, that's really what the people care about. That's when the big show on the 4-letter comes out every Tuesday night with their rankings, that they highlight the top 6. It's the 4 that are in and the 2 that are just on the outside. So why don't we start at our number 6? We'll work our way to the top. Currently at my 6 is a Big Ten team. It is a Big Ten team with a loss. It is not a Big Ten team with a loss that's in my home state. It's the one just next door. It is the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is my number 6 team right now. Obviously, will be plenty of shakeup in that Big Ten conference before things are all said and done. But from where the Buckeyes were and the way things shook out above them, they are working their way back up. Who's your number 6 right now?
That is a solid call by you. I, however, am far more cynical, and I have my number 6 as the state whose name is also a Broadway musical. Very appropriate, because they look like somebody who plays in a Broadway musical and not a football team anytime they're in a college football playoff or anywhere near it, or even asked to play defense for that matter. I have Oklahoma at number 6.
Okay. My number 5 currently is another team in the Big Ten conference. Not quite ready to put them into my top 4. But as the season continues to shake out, if they continue to find ways to win, they will eventually find their way there. But for now, the Michigan Wolverines are my number 5 team in my college football top 6.
Hey, man, listen, I love you throwing the wife some love there, too, by the way. That's a great move by you.
Very smart. Very smart.
I do not enjoy using the term happy wife, happy life, because I like to feel like I have a bit more independence. But hey, that doesn't mean I'm going to diss you for applying it here. I, of course, am going to kiss up to the host and say Ohio State is my number 5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My number 4 is a team in the AAC, not to be confused with an even worse conference with 1A and 2 C's. And that's a team that, unfortunately for me, beat my Fighting Irish a few weeks ago. But Cincinnati, it's. If there was going to be a year, and right, wrong, or indifferent, and we've had that discussion before, there is a team that is going to, a non-Power 5 that is going to make it. This looks to be the year, at least pre-expansion, which there's still talks about that and whether or not expansion is going to be a thing. But with the way everything's shaken out, I said it when they beat Notre Dame. I said the door is wide open. They just have to finish the job at this point. So Cincinnati's there at 4 for me.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad call at all by you. What I'm going to do, though, is refer one more time to the conference that I call the best college football that money can buy. And, of course, I refer to the SEC, and I refer to the Alabama Crimson Tide as my number 4. Listen, I know that they didn't take care of business for one single freaking week, and now you want to set them on fire. Saban's the devil. Dun, 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 whatever, okay? Somebody do better in the meantime, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, I have the, as much as I would love to have them nowhere near the top of this list. Just can't do it. I will get to the Alabama Crimson Tide. For now, I have Oklahoma at 3. I still think they are going to find their way out of this spot because nothing they've done over the last few weeks or hell, really the entire year has necessarily proven to me that they're a top 4 or a playoff team. But unfortunately, in a year where everything else is crumbling around them, they're a benefactor of that. I know you always like to bring up a year where Notre Dame took 3 overtimes to beat Pitt, but when everything else crumbled around them, Notre Dame was still 12-0 when everything shook out. And, that was a year where I actually agreed with people that Notre Dame didn't belong in a championship game, but
it does happen, ladies and gentlemen. I will vouch for him on that.
Every so often, I'll admit things were right when Notre Dame didn't belong somewhere. But for now, I have Oklahoma at 3. Like I said, I think they're going to find themselves out of this spot. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend, but we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But for right now, the Sooners are my number 3.
Well, welcome to my world of controversy. And one can claim that I'm doing it for the sake of my host continuing to have a happy life. I mean, I've been calling myself a contributor to the Huddle Up podcast at this rate. F it. I'm pulling the co-host card, and that means I have
I think you're official at this point.
Yeah, well, and with that in mind, sir, I have to keep my opportunities to be a great wingman for you on the table. I have the Michigan Wolverines right now at number 3, but let me tell you why. That schedule will shake them out at some point. I put them at that number 3 spot, Big Jim, because they currently control their destiny with this, right? Okay. I think it's very safe to say that if they win out, including beating Ohio State, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, take a breath. If, hear that, everybody? If they win against Ohio State, they would have also had to have already passed Penn State and Michigan State, if memory serves. And then in the conference championship, whether they find their fake ID or not, Iowa is still the presumed opponent in the conference championship. I don't even think they need.
They are what we thought they were.
Well played with the Denny Green drop. Excellent work by you, Big Jim, on point at the dang soundboard tonight.
I got it going.
Listen, I mean, it's glad to hear that Spectrum / Bright House doesn't slow you down the same way it does my connection, but that's good, man. And I'll give a little bit of help to our should-be friend, EJ Christian, because he's not here. I have to call him that. For getting my mind turning this way, but I'm signed off on it. I have the Michigan Wolverines because they control their own destiny to actually be in the college football playoff. Even the CFP, I would think, would be compelled to put them in the top 4. I have them at number 3.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it was last week on here where we talked about the possible scenario where, and I think it's if they would, win out, but like lose a close one to Ohio State or something. But like the Michigan Ohio State combo would be about the only thing outside of the SEC that we could see a potential two teams in the playoff for one conference.
I got to give you your credit, too. I don't mean to cut you off there, but I feel compelled to give you credit. I asked the question, are there any other conferences, thinking I knew the answer that could have 2 representatives potentially? Well, talking about that, the Big Ten certainly was a possibility depending on how things could go. Alabama would have to lose again, so that likely won't happen. But Ohio State and Michigan sneaking both in, don't rule that out. There's certain things that could happen. But again, right now, Big Jim, to his credit, planted the initial seeds of me taking Michigan seriously. And then today, you could actually catch it now on the YouTube version of the Earnestly Speaking podcast. Bing! Actually on the the Earnestly Speak. Thank you. On the Earnestly Speaking YouTube channel, right? That is where I'm at with them. So hey, credit to you and EJ for opening my mind beyond the conference that provides me the best college football money can buy.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be the only time that you hear me say this phrase on this show tonight, but like the game, the Michigan-Nebraska game last Saturday, that's a game that for the last couple of years, Michigan ends up losing. I don't know what it means in the grand scheme of things. I don't know what the next 5-6 weeks with their schedule getting much more difficult mean, but that they won a game that for the last couple of years when you were winning big, and in the second half things start to get a little funky, you start to lose grip a little bit, that lead dissipates, you end up going behind. That's a game they lose for the last few years, and they didn't panic, they didn't make mistakes, they settled down, they found a way to come back and win. So something feels at least a little bit different from that aspect from this Michigan team. Again, we're going to find out what they really are. We're going to find out what Michigan State really is. We're going to find out what Ohio State really is. And we're going to, depending on the health of their quarterback, we're going to find out if the game in Iowa was an anomaly for Penn State or if it was more of the reality and it was the first time they faced, anything that resembles competition. So we're going to find out a lot more about the Big Ten over the next few weeks.
Exactly. The biggest disaster from that Michigan-Nebraska game is I still have to listen to these goofy UCF fans try to tell me that hiring him back would be a good plan. But I digress.
No.
Bro, I swear to God, that is a thing.
Whew. Wow. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. All right, let's
a thing, and I see.
Uh-oh. We lost Kyle here for a second.
We're good.
Oh no, we're good.
Yeah. They're trying.
But let's move to number 2. And I said, as much as I wish I didn't still have them on my list somewhere, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Right now, they're my number 2 team. Yes, they lost. Yes, it was a game they probably shouldn't have lost. Yes, that's a situation that should a lot of times drop a team, out of playoff contention when you lose to an unranked team, and so on and so on and so on. But the problem is, this season has been pretty much chaos for 7 weeks. So the options for teams above them really aren't there right now. Now, do I think that Family Guy himself, EJ Christian 7, was way off base when he said this was potentially the best Alabama roster of all time? Yeah, he was crazy. He was going a little nuts.
I know what he's doing with his stepdad tonight.
He's gonna bring some of those hot takes to the show tonight. Right. But right now, I don't see an argument for a team with the exception of, spoiler alert, my number 1 team is a certain team from Georgia. To me, I just don't know if there's a better team in the nation right now. Kyle.
It would have been this time just 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was vehemently arguing about my faith in the College Football Playoff Committee. Well, I do still doubt them. But for me, myself, this chaos that you mentioned, where top-level teams are getting knocked off left and right, dropping like flies, you would think this is some kind of BS murder mystery, and the butler currently in the college football world might just be this team. Why do I say that? Butlers are known for service. Chick-fil-A is known for great service. And all the jokes made about this team's logo looking like the Chick-fil-A logo with 3 dots on the top. Of course, I refer to the Cincinnati Bearcats. Yeah, I have them number 2. Deal with it, fools. Because they're actually taking care of damn business. I mean, say what you will. But Cal, you're just doing that because they beat UCF. No, not at all. I predicted them losing that game, people. Maybe y'all may not have caught that. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they are constantly handling the business the way that they should. Of course, Notre Dame was an underwhelming win that everybody saw coming, including Jim. That's not okay. That was cheap. I'm sorry. But
wow.
Hey, listen.
Stay out of line.
This is me continuing to make sure I'm the best wingman in internet radio. Okay, not only do I have your wife's team in the top 4, I'm trashing your team. You, sir, are going to get special attention tonight. That's all I'm saying. Okay, get out and theater popcorn. I'm surprised you haven't called me a GD genius yet. That's what I'm saying.
It'll happen at some point, I'm sure. I want to wait till EJ. Maybe I'll wait till EJ's here just so he hears it.
But yeah, I got Cincinnati. And who knows, Jim? This is yet another inspiration that you've put in my head of things that may actually occur.
Yeah, and I mean, I have them at 4. I can't necessarily argue with them at 2. It's, yes, the argument from people will always be, the competition isn't as hard, but you made the point that, and this like held up to like my defense last year when Notre Dame went to the playoff was the teams that people don't think should make the playoff. All they can do is play the schedule as it's in front of them. Nobody knows how things are going to shake out by the time, when these schedules are made. Well, the point is Cincinnati's going out every week, and they're not just winning games. They're winning games soundly. Yes, their competition is different than the competition that a lot of the rest of the country plays, but they're going out and they're doing it convincingly. And that's the key. That is the key for them to make their case for the college football playoff. And when they beat Notre Dame, they did it in convincing fashion. Now, is this a great Notre Dame team? No, it's not. But you went into South Bend and beat a team that hadn't lost there in 28 straight home games, and you won. So, that has to stand for something, and they did it again in convincing fashion.
I would also say, sir, let's pretend that Notre Dame wasn't on their schedule this year and it was some other big program. You picked the program that would be commensurate. It was Notre Dame in 2017. I said it. No one remembered it. Not even you, oddly enough, on this, and maybe you didn't hear it. In 2017, I said the presence of Notre Dame would prevent UCF from making it in because they're the bigger name. They're the bigger draw. The committee knows them. And
Uh-oh. A little frozen. Stick with us. Come on, Kyle. I believe in you. I believe in your internet. Oh, no. I think the internet done got him. He was making a great point about
by the way, so
we got you. Uh-oh. Oh, and we lost Kyle. Kyle will join us back here in a second. Recapping my top 5 up to this point. I had the Ohio State Buckeyes. I had the Michigan Wolverines, Cincinnati at 4, Oklahoma 3, Alabama 2. Kyle, I saved the show. I steered the ship when your internet said, "Fuck you, Kyle."
No, God, did it though? Yes, I had to turn down the volume quickly. I'm not your buddy, friend. Anyways, so yeah, but Notre Dame's presence in 2017 kept UCF out. I think we're good with that. But like y'all didn't know I was going to pick Georgia. STFU. Let's move on.
Yeah, this one's easy. Georgia Bulldogs #1. I don't think anybody is disputing that, arguing that. Those are our top 6 for this week. It will probably certainly change by the time we're on the air next week, as everything's been changing in college football, and much like power rankings in the NFL, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ernest Christian, EJ Christian 7.
I don't know. I'm surprised
It's a week ranking.
I'm surprised you can bear to use that example.
Oh, I see what you did there. I'm sure that'll come up when we talk about the NFL here in a little bit. But instead of like with the pick'ems, I do the big 4 in the NFL, which was hard enough to pick this week, and then in college football, I always do top 25 teams that are head-to-head against each other. Well, guess what? Week 8 said, hey, fuck you, buddy. There is 0 games where top 25 teams are playing head-to-head against each other this week. So we're going to get a little creative this week. There are, is it 9? 8 of the top 10 teams that are playing in games this week. And we're going to decide if any of these teams are on upset alert, or how many of them are upset alert, given the crazy scenarios that are this season. And let's start with, in the AP poll, #2, your #2, my #4, the Cincinnati Bearcats. They travel to Annapolis to take on the Navy Midshipmen at noon. Couple years ago, when this Navy team looked a lot better, I would have said maybe, but this is a different Navy team, and this is also a different Cincinnati team. I think the Bearcats are safe this week.
Wow, what a bold prediction by you, Jim. Listen, I appreciate your use of Canadian proverbs, especially, hey, beep you, Betty. Listen, I've seen Canadian teams in the Shrine game, Canadian players in the Shrine game at the college level. I didn't realize the scheduling could be done in Canadian fashion like that. I mentioned Canadians so much just so I can make a joke about the Navy having a better chance of defending against something than Cincinnati, and that's what we have here.
Very good. Then we go to also at noon on Saturday, the number 3 Oklahoma Sooners taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. Again, I'd love to just say automatically yes. Like, I mean, it's the Big 12. I guess anything goofy, silly, and dumb can happen because that's exactly what the Big 12 conference is, something that's goofy, silly, and dumb. But I will say for this week, anyhow, it is not going to be the case every week, but for this week, I will say Boomer Sooner is safe from upset alert.
A, pick the over. B,
yes.
Boy, this would be a great basketball game, wouldn't it?
Certainly.
And C, Boomer. Moving on.
All right, we go to another noon game. Half of these are at noon on Saturday. The Northwestern Wildcats pull into Ann Arbor on Saturday to take on the number 6 in the AP poll, Michigan Wolverines. There's plenty of potential trip ups on this schedule for Michigan, but I think they're going to handle business at home this week. I say the Fighting Hardballs are safe for this week.
The Fighting Hardballs were safe this week, just as the Fighting Hardballs were safe on Sunday in the NFL. I'm gonna match you on this one. Listen, I like Northwestern, typically speaking, but last year was their year, not this one.
There you go. Then we go to noon on Saturday in Happy Valley. The Illinois. They still still a Fighting Illini? Or are they the Illini? I can't remember. Illinois comes into State College to take on number 7 Penn State. I actually didn't check to see what the status is of Sean Clifford, the quarterback for Penn State. I will say this: if he is not healthy, Penn State is definitely in danger of being upset this weekend, even though they are at home. That offense with Clifford in isn't that great to begin with, but you want to talk about anemic, pitiful. Watch that game against Iowa. Hey, Iowa's a little bit different than Illinois, but man, that offense, they could not get anything going. And I know what Philadelphia and Pittsburgh cheers sound like when things aren't going well, and I think you could get one of those on Saturday in Happy Valley. So I will say Penn State is on upset alert.
I appreciate your points. I just don't have enough faith in the Fighting Illini in question. I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. But I think we're going to be all right with Penn State this week, regardless of the anemia of the offense. I mean, heck, we had a number 2 team in the nation this time last week with a team that was ranked 80th in overall offense. So there's that.
Yeah, they're saying quarterback situation still up in the air for this weekend. So as of right now, again, this is Tuesday. That game is on Saturday. If you're betting and degenerate folk, plan accordingly as you get later in the week. But as of right now, I'll say Penn State is in danger. Then we go to 3:30 Eastern time. Number 8 Oklahoma State is on the road. They are at Iowa State, a team that I chose poorly. Thought was going to be a lot better than they have proven themselves to be this year. But again, Big 12 probably should take the over. I'll say Oklahoma State is safe this week, but with the Big 12, I'd never be surprised to see an upset, especially when a team's on the road.
I mean, listen, the weight borne by the country's best mullet is heavy. So you never truly know. But I, too, sign off that Oklahoma State should be relatively safe.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Thank you so much.
It's such a great, for those who know, it is such a great clip. Yes, the mullet and the soundbite as well. All right, let's go to the Pac-12, 3:30 Eastern time on Saturday. It is the number 10 Oregon Ducks at the UCLA Bruins. Beginning of this year, UCLA looked like they were putting the country on notice.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone a little bit quiet over the last few weeks, but, you know, much like Iowa, Oregon,
But they are who we thought they were.
can always Oregon. So I will say, just because it's on the road in the Rose Bowl, I'll say Oregon's on upset alert. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree, because if anything is going to beat an Oregon offense, it is a stout group up front, and UCLA has proven that they can do that on occasion. Whether they will do that in this game is to be questioned. I know at one point earlier, I think we may have pointed this out as something that could shape the future of the Pac-12, and that's no different. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put Oregon. I might even just outright pick the Bruins to win this game. But I haven't been watching quite enough Pac-12 football to be that confident, I'll be honest.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't think you would necessarily be wrong if you do that. But once again, similar to the Big 12, if you're betting this game, over is always a good choice when you're betting in the Pac-12. Then we go to 7 o'clock Eastern time. Tennessee still picking up the trash from Neyland Stadium's grass. They travel to Alabama, number 4 Alabama. Yeah, no, it's a hard no on this one. Alabama is not on upset alert from Tennessee.
I'll put it this way: as somebody who personally watched the handiwork of a defense, kind of degrade over his coaching tenure, and when Josh Heupel, I'm not inclined to think that Alabama is going to be stopped in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If Tennessee is to compete in this game, it's going to need to be a situation where it's 85-92, and that is just not what Alabama allows to happen. I just told you to the exact degree that Tennessee will volunteer for this beatdown.
Hey-o. Yeah, and I believe Joe Milton is still Tennessee's quarterback. Nobody's getting into a shootout with Joe Milton as their quarterback. I know my wife will appreciate that one as well. And then finally, we go 7:30 Eastern time. We go to the Big Ten. It is number 5 Ohio State at Indiana. If this was last year, and with all the silliness that last year brought and empty buildings that made things even weirder, I would say, sure, maybe, why not? This year, I've seen a few Indiana games, and there is nothing they have done in any game that has told me that Ohio State is in any danger. I'm not necessarily 100% sold. A lot of the talk around the Buckeyes the last few weeks has been how, ever since they lost, Ohio State's been on a roll. And I'm like, okay, look at who they since they lost to Oregon. But, they've been getting the job done. They will continue to do that this Saturday in Indiana. No worries here.
Yeah, no, I don't blame that. I don't blame that take. On matter of fact, I will agree. If you think Indiana is going to win this game, I would ask, who's your drug dealer? From the hip, son.
Man, he's got them all. He has got them all tonight. Wow, so good. You got anything else in college football, Kyle, before we shift gears?
I've been dropping these dimes for puns, and you're going to ask me for more?
Well, I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm a glutton for punishment.
There you go. The one tidbit I got to mention is, the schedule's in a rough state where UTEP and UTSA was considered as a game day stop at one point for ESPN. That's what I mean.
Where are they this weekend? Do you even know?
I don't know. I have a feeling that my Twitter feed from my good friend Alex, who actually covers UCF, talked trash on UTEP for the previous couple seasons in his student radio show is now a big picks up guy because of listen, I've been retweeting him. Check it out on my Twitter feed, the SOTG, about the saga between Alex and UTEP. It's entertaining as hell, just from a distance. But that being said, that's the only way I even heard of UTEP and UTSA at this point.
They are at Oregon UCLA. That's probably the best choice.
You think?
For this week, yes. I will give them. I will give them that. There's. I think they're going to be in like the Midwest, like Northeast region here coming up quite a bit over the final month or so of the season with some of these matchups coming up in the Big Ten. But yeah, the smart one for this week. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears now to the National Football League, and maybe the bat signal will shine down in Florida, and EJ will stumble in at some point when we're talking about the National Football League. But this past Sunday, when my Cowboys beat his Patriots,
it doesn't stop being funny. I'm sorry.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, and it never will with us. It really never will. This was a game, and I talked about it with the Michigan-Nebraska game. This is a game that, for years, the Dallas Cowboys would have lost. When things don't start well. They don't go well through the middle. There's horrible free safety play near the end of the game when the ship finally got righted. The very next play, it went the complete opposite. So, for years I have seen that game, and so many times it does not end with a Cowboys victory. Sunday in Foxborough was a different story. The Cowboys, despite their best efforts, found a way to win and remain having their only loss be at Tampa Bay to start the year. They go into the bye at 5-1, which to me feels a hell of a lot different than 4-2, especially the way the game played out. So the topic, and I do, we joke about him not being here, but I would have loved his thoughts on this as well. But I'll start with you, Kyle. Does this win for the Cowboys mean more than just this win for the Cowboys?
First of all, let me on air show my ability, despite my huge ego, to show humility. I connected on a very low blow with you on Twitter, making a joke about how you follow fake sports. And really, I believe the only way I could have insulted you worse was if I had talked trash on your wife, which I am not dumb enough to do, because I'm pretty certain that, just on the outside chance we meet and our wives kibitz, that's trouble I don't need. No. Listen, I would love golf up north if I can make it there at some point. But the punchline is this. I apologize wholeheartedly for cracking on you for liking wrestling, especially considering my wife has WWE in her portfolio in our retirement fund. So
very nice.
But in light of that, I had promised you on Twitter to make a point to say something positive about the Cowboys. Now, I will point out two things. A, with the effort they produced this Sunday, I would have done that without making that promise. But B, there's a lot of stupid people saying stupid stuff that are doing knee-jerk stuff we're used to in one of our other contributors that's going to have to kind of put a damper on it. So I'll start with a positive first here. How many times, including our favorite Patriots fan himself saying this about a Tom Brady Patriots team, this is champions find a way to win in games like this, right? Okay, at the risk of a "that's what she said" joke, they had trouble moving it up the middle and still found a way to score. Okay, when you said that, I've had that on my mind.
I don't have a "that's what she said" on the board. That's very disappointing.
That is incredibly disappointing. Bow your head in shame. Anyways, don't bow your head in shame. You're gonna break your mic. I'll take the cavalcade of cursing as a substitute. That works. But this was that game for the Cowboys, ironically placed over EJ's Patriots, where he has proclaimed the same thing, right? This is the kind of game where champions win when they don't play their best and they still find a way. Listen, I'm going to say it unironically, okay? Dakota Prescott should be in the conversation for MVP, and he should be in there ahead of Kyler Murray. That's right, bitches, I said it. Ahead of Kyler Murray. In fact, if it weren't for the existence of one Derrick Henry and Lamar Demetrius Jackson,
there it is.
Actually have my vote. Yeah, I know. I finally remembered it today. I did it. I did it earlier on the Earnestly Speaking podcast. Bing! But yeah, even Kyler Murray people who are hyping up, I remind them of Lamar Demetrius Jackson on Twitter. They're even like, "Oh yeah, you got a point, bro." So, that's the only thing preventing me from tearing down the walls to defend your boy Dakota Prescott. And I think this was another game that showed it. Now, something else that's going to be incredibly interesting is this calf strain that I'm hearing about.
Yeah.
I don't think it's horrible. I think he could play through it. Thank goodness, while his O-line, as the old gray mule, aren't what they used to be, they're still pretty damn stout.
Yeah.
So I'm not on complete alert and fear. I forget who the Cowboys opponent is this weekend. I'm sure you can tell me.
They're on a bye this week.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty damn sure they won't lose that one.
I would hope so.
There are years past with the clapping coach that I might have had questions. But yeah,
how's that working out for you, New York? How's that working out for you?
Hey, the same way Dolphins were commenting about that with Adam Gase. Anyways, so too soon. So listen. Now here's where I have to get real. Can we settle the F down with the Super Bowl talk? For the love of Christ in heaven, okay? Goodness gracious. The only thing dumber than this was people trying to tell me the Titans were a Super Bowl contender going into the season because they got Julio Jones. Listen, fools, time management.
Ridiculous.
Thank you, sir. Time management and defense are the two things you need to win a Super Bowl. And the Titans and the Cowboys are not top-notch at both.
Well, they're certainly not in the time management department because I don't know what the hell Mike McCarthy's doing in some of those things. I mean, he'll let the clock drain from a minute to 8 seconds and then call the timeout and things like that. So I have no clue what's going on there. And I mean, the decision like in the first half when he went for it on 4th and almost 2 from his own 34, and that didn't work out. You gave New England a short field, and I get it, he's a gambler. That's what I've heard for the last 2 years. He's a gambler. So that's, I guess, what you're going to get. But I'm like, even I know a lot of gamblers and some of them won't just do ridiculously stupid things at times. And then that's exactly what a choice like that was.
And some of them are Brett Favre. Moving on.
Correct. But yeah, there's been times already, even this season, where I've gone, okay, I can kind of get where Packers fans got tired of this dude. But in the same time, this is a guy and a staff, especially this year, that has the Cowboys winning games that they wouldn't have won 2, 3, 4 years ago. So you got to kind of take the good with the bad, I guess. Defensively.
Well, you're being a little, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think you're being a little cruel to Dakota Prescott. This guy has won plenty of games for them already that they wouldn't have otherwise won. It's called Tony Romo having his career end, okay?
Right. Yeah, no, and this is definitely not a criticism on Dak. I mean, I have his name back here, his name in the episode title. I mean, I'm all in on QB1. I mean, the guy is without a doubt to me the comeback player of the year for this year.
That's more people that's more me taking a shot at people that implied he earned the money less than Zeke.
Right. It's every week Dak continues to prove that he is and should have been QB1 for this team, and there should have never been a doubt. There should have never been a question. There should have never been any hesitation on whether or not they should have signed Prescott. But it's defensively, this team let them down. Special teams let them down.
Mhm.
And at times on Sunday, defense and special teams did let them down. But again, when it came down to it, they found a way to win. But yeah, I'm glad you said it, Kyle, because when so many people are, Romo's doing it on the broadcast on Sunday, Nance is doing it. You got sports talk hosts out here doing it, over the last couple of days, talking about, this is a team, they look different, that they're finally going to break that. Like calm down. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love nothing more than my Dallas Cowboys to be playing on a Sunday in February and to finally win a Super Bowl that they win
you're alive for
after I hit puberty. Like, right. I would certainly love that. I could finally appreciate a Cowboys Super Bowl win. And I'm not saying that it can't happen, but what I'm not willing to do at this point, sitting here after week 6 of this season, is put the Cowboys in that game on a Sunday in February, because yes, they are 5-1, but the road gets a lot harder. Not the rest of their schedule. You look over the rest of their schedule, there's not a ton of bumps there. I know they have the Chiefs, and I'm not sure who else, but like the rest of your division schedule's not hard. I think they're playing the AFC East, so there's not a lot of challenge there. So like the schedule doesn't get hard in that aspect, but at some point you're going to get into the playoffs. Now the advantage to being what the Cowboys are right now, if they can continue to be that way, and playing a weaker schedule, is you may end up with home field advantage. And that's a great thing, because the more this team continues to go out and do what it's been doing, I think the more that Cowboys fan base is going to not sell those tickets and end up with like an all red stadium when the Niners pull into town or anything like that. So
don't worry about the Niners home.
No, but I mean, there was a game a few years ago where the Niners came into town and it looked like a home game for the 49ers, because people want to come and see that stadium so Cowboys fans can make an easy profit.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do that if you get into the postseason. So I'm confident about the playoffs, but yeah, let's get that Super Bowl talk way out of the way.
Yeah, no, and let me make the following closing points here for your Cowboys. 2 things worth mentioning here. A, beating the Cardinals, beating the Bucs. That's those are obviously the elephants in the room, right? The good news about the Cardinals is to expect Kyler Murray to be 100% healthy playing in that division that late in the season. That's a tall order.
Sure.
So, and his ability to move does complete the stew of greatness that is that offense. And that defense is still pretty amazing too. And yes, I still believe that Kyler Murray is not MVP, because look at that damn receiver core. I saw it in person. It's something amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's quarterbacks everywhere dream of half of that receiving core.
Listen, I'll leave it to you like this. In person, I saw Shaquille Griffin, UCF product in Jacksonville, defensive captain, hold DeAndre Hopkins to 3 catches for 21 yards, and they still lost as significantly as they did. Okay, boom. But the other thing, too, that I will say in defense of the Dallas Cowboys, especially for Dakota Prescott. Listen, first of all, if he does get to the Super Bowl, I will adopt. I am decreeing it here. He has not got the 3-name tribute. I know you're giving it to him. You kind of have to, I guess.
Fine. That's my, to quote the sometimes great, other times not, Tara Lowens, that's my quarterback.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And I can't even poop on that right now. But, God, I don't believe you did that. That's some underhanded bullshit. That's worse than any Notre Dame versus UCF comment you've ever made, sir.
I know what I'm doing, sir. I'm good at this.
God, I think that's the first true victory you have over me, and it's on your show. It's but God, give yourself a belt, Jim. But I will adopt the 3-name treatment if the Cowboys get to the Super Bowl this year, because he's going to have to play in a fashion that is worthy of him earning of me making it rain on Dakota Prescott. There you go.
I see what you did there.
But and the last thing, think back, if you would, good sir, to Dakota Prescott's first playoff appearance. He had a win. He did his job. And Aaron Charlet Rodgers took it away from him. I felt devastated for him. But what did he do on Sunday? Some rookie did his damn job, and he willed Mac Jones to failure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it if and when EJ jumps in here because I don't want to overinflate his New England ego. But for a lot of people that didn't like the reign of terror in New England, don't look now, but Mac Jones looks pretty fucking good.
Did you mean to say reign of terror right there? Because that's
I think that was actually a happy accident. But the rest of the way, this is what the rest of the Cowboys schedule is. This is what I mean by like the road doesn't necessarily get really hard, especially given the division they're in. I mean, they're up 3 games on the next closest team. And that's why I said when we were talking about this in the preseason, like even if the Eagles begin to develop or if Washington can kind of recapture some of last year's magic, as long as Dak Prescott, definitely not, but as long as Dak Prescott is healthy, this team is going to win the East. I don't know what else they're going to do, but they are going to win the East, and they're running away with it. But the rest of the way, Dallas, they're like I said, they're off this week at Minnesota. Then they host Denver and Atlanta, at Kansas City, host the Raiders, at the Saints, Washington, and the Giants. And then they are home versus Washington and Arizona, and then they go to Philly at the end of the year. That game against the Eagles, I would imagine that there's going to be no reason for Dak and company to be playing at that point, because it really, unless it's a matter of the rest of the NFC playing out, there's going to be no reason to put those guys at risk on a Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia.
I could even argue that Jalen Hurts might be the best quarterback remaining on the schedule based on the names you read off.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. Oh, I'm sending EJ the link. Apparently he's having
more technical issues?
Wonderful. More technical issues.
Great. He's going to come in here just like, I mean, he's not hanging out with his stepdad. He's on some sting with the NSA, and we're going to see it when he pops in. Anyways, so I hope he watches this first part and just sees all the trash let loose. It's great.
He better. If he doesn't, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Plenty of hot takes at his expense.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. But yeah, it's like this like I said it on Sunday, like that this is a game that was a game that the Cowboys lose a lot, and they found a way to win. I think it's a morale boost, like I said, going into a bye week, but I'm not ready to say it's a game changer, it's a world changer yet. Those sort of things have to continue to play out. I do know the Cowboys need to not buy into their hype, because I feel like I saw some of that happening on Sunday, and that was part of the reason why. Part of the reason why they,
what's so funny?
We said you were going to be in the NSA safe house, and certainly you are. Now you're wearing a helmet.
Now you're wearing a helmet. I can't beat that. Listen, I don't know if I'm a good influence or what, EJ, but Big Jim has been on fire tonight, and you've missed so much of it. At any rate,
he just bobs his head. So EJ, we've been talking about, and before we move on to the next thing,
just be prepared. It's about your Patriots.
Yes, we were talking about my Cowboys beating your Patriots. But the question was, and we'll get your thoughts on it. And he dropped out.
Hey, listen, if you're the kid in class that can't handle getting in late, that's a you problem.
I love it. And he just looked at us and just shook his head and then just quietly just, you know what? I think I'm in the wrong place. I think
you remember Vines when those were a thing?
Yes.
And as the one who is less prone to curse on this show, I have to evoke this nonetheless. There was a Vine that was just simply, fuck this shit, I'm out. And
he's just, you know, he walked in and was like,
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
and just, you know what? I'm good. I am good as gone. I'm sure I got a message from him here in a second. I'm coming back. All right, let's move on. If he jumps back in, we can circle back to the point. But last week, you know, we talked about John Gruden. You know, on other shows, I'm sure you ad nauseum have talked about it, wrote about it, covered it. The Urban Meyer situation. We're not going to talk about either of those really, but two teams that absolutely needed to right their ships. And there was one team that played in London. There was one team that played in Denver. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Las Vegas Raiders found ways to win in different fashions, but the question is, which one of these teams do you think, with all of the noise around them, which win, quote unquote, meant more? Was it the Raiders win in Denver, or was it the Jaguars win in London?
I'm going to say, and my problem here is obviously a bias. You know, I've been paying attention closely to the Jacksonville Jaguars and all of that. But I believe the Raiders win is more important. This actually has playoff implication. And as somebody who has written on the 3pointconversion.com, that's the number 3, not the letter 3. I have constantly been forced and compelled to draw the comparison between Trevor Lawrence to Sheriff Peyton Manning. No, I did not learn his middle name. I opted to just call him Sheriff. But I do so as a pair of guys who were both the first round overall picks and were asked to save the world with, let's say, limited foundation at best, right? At this point, statistically, Trevor Lawrence passing is at least commensurate, if not slightly better than the Sheriff. And oh, by the way, he has a bleeping run game to add to it as well, right? So I say all that to say the Jaguars win is far less, important, although they did find themselves a kicker in UCF product, Matt Wright. One could say that he was a grandson of one of the performers of New Kids on the Block because he had the right stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Only your ass would fucking do that. Only your ass would throw.
Oh, you're actually talking now. That's nice. I didn't want to interrupt your sting. Anyways,
by the way, do you see my name?
No, I don't have the.
He doesn't do the nameplates.
You don't see nameplate? Oh shit, that's cool. Oh,
what is it? FBI agent or something?
Is this, there we
the
go.
tool. But yeah, it definitely is bigger for the Raiders for two reasons. A, playoff implications. They're still very much in it. And B, is there a most underrated in the damn league award? Because Derek Carr should be considered. Okay. How do you quarterback that to victory, gentlemen? I don't know exactly, but he did.
Yeah,
he was in the discussion for a couple of weeks there.
Yeah, certainly was. EJ, let's pause on this topic. I want to go back to the prior topic because, you know, it's like I said, with college football, you're usually smart enough to agree with us, and the NFL is usually. But we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and my
God, really?
My question was, did the Cowboys? What did they come from behind win against your Patriots mean more than just a come from behind win, or is this a team that is built differently this year?
No, let me just say I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. I get it. It's fun to make fun of the Cowboys. We get it. It's fun to show Big Jim's team. It is. I'll say it again.
And they're still always Notre Dame.
Yes, right. But here's the thing.
Yeah, but he can't because he's a Florida State fan. It's
quiet. The sample is growing, though. The sample is growing. This is a different team. Look, we'll see in November, December if this continues to be true. But we can only talk about what we know in the moment. 6 games in, this is a different team. A game like Sundays, and I think I texted you guys this on in our group text during the game. In the last 10 years, they lose that game. They find a way to lose that game from the depths of hell. They find a way. We're in this game now. We'll find a way to lose this game. Jimmy knows it too well.
No, I am very keenly aware to the fact that that's a game the Cowboys use.
You're seeing them win games that they should normally lose, and they just find a way to win it. And that's, to me, is the mark of a team that's ascending to, good things. Now, if are we saying, are they in the ilk of the Bucks and the Rams? And that remains to be seen. I would still lean no for the time being. But again, you have a lot of football to be played. And I'll say it again. And me and Kyle agree on this, especially. We discussed on today's podcast. Dak Prescott is an MVP candidate right now. He's in the top 3. Okay. Dak Prescott's earning every fucking dollar that he signed for. So all this talk about he's being overpaid, I think those people shut up already pretty quick, because the Cowboys right now are they are a team to be reckoned with right now. And if their defense is even average, they're a threat to the top of the NFC.
Yeah, they obviously need to continue to develop a little bit. I think they.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go throw up real quick.
I know this is very difficult for him to deal with this Patriots loss. I don't know why.
No, seriously, as a Giant fan, listen, I remember, as a Giant fan, and I remember, getting the football, in 1990, and then for the fucking next 6 years, all I dealt was fucking Cowboys mania and Emmett, the big 3 of the Emmett, Aikman, Irvin thing. And I'm not saying we're there right now, obviously, but geez,
I was way too young to enjoy that.
Yeah, but
I was 10.
Yeah,
last time they won the Super Bowl.
This is the first Cowboys team I could really say in a very long time that this is a grown-up team. This is a man's team. This is a team that really ain't fucking around.
Yeah, and we did touch briefly. I know, Kyle, you mentioned the calf injury to Dak, and doesn't look super serious. Obviously, with a bye week, it definitely happened at the quote unquote right time. But also, I mean, you're watching, Zeke Elliott. I hope the sports media continues to tell Ezekiel Elliott that he can't run the ball anymore, because he seems a bit possessed this year. And then you have the 1-2 punch with Tony Pollard,
and that's it. The 1-2 punch is helping him too.
It's taking the pressure off. It's taking the pressure off of Dak. It's taking some of that pressure off of Zeke. And it's obviously making the offense better. But certainly it'll play out. And we did touch on that. We're not quite ready to put them in that Super Bowl conversation. I think people who are
they're climbing.
They are. They're definitely ascending, and as long as they continue to play the game the way they have been, I think they have potential to make noise in the playoffs, especially if they can earn home field.
Now, the tool on the show says, "I pray to God this doesn't happen." I pray to God they fall apart. Obviously, I no offense, Big Jim, I want to see you suffer again.
No, I don't, I've been able to be mildly insufferable about the Notre Dame when they get to the playoff, and then I quickly get humbled. And then I for one glorious summertime, I was able to be really insufferable about the Washington Capitals when they were Stanley Cup champions. I have no idea what a grown up Big Jim looks like if the Dallas Cowboys actually find a way to win the Lombardi Trophy. So if you don't like me and my insufferable, if you don't like me being insufferable, if that happens, you probably want to mute me.
I can tell you how a earnest EJ Christian reaction. Now, granted, this has been a long time since it's happened, 26 years since you guys won a Super Bowl, 25 years, excuse me. But I can tell you my reaction when they win a Super Bowl. It's 3 times.
He's going to be big mad. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to this topic, and then, of course, we'll get to our big 4 games of the weekend.
Okay.
A big 2 maybe, and then 2 other ones. But my question to Kyle, and he already worked his way through it. EJ, I'll put it back to you. two teams that with a lot of noise around their franchises found ways to win this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Which win meant more, quote unquote, to their team? Was it the Jaguars or was it the Raiders?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
I thought it was pretty easy, but that this is what makes great shows.
I'm gonna say the Raiders, honestly, because given the circumstances, and don't forget, this team was 3-0 at the gate. Just 3 weeks, obviously, not a lot of football, not a big sample, but you're feeling good about yourselves, and then you fall to 3-2, well, 3-1. Then the Gruden thing happens over the weekend. They lose that game that same weekend. The Gruden thing falls apart, and you're wondering, okay, well, this is it. Is this going to be like the team that's just lost now? And they found a way not just to win, on a short week with all the controversy, but also against one of the bitter rivals, Denver. I don't give a fuck how bad Denver is. That is ask any Raider fan, that is a brutal rivalry. Brutal. Broncos Raiders. That's one of the more underrated ones in the league. So when you consider those circumstances and whatnot, and expectations of this team wanting to go to the playoffs, that's a huge win. That's a humongous win for the Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, easy has to be the Jaguars because, obviously 20-game losing streak and all that. And at some point that was going to end. This is a team that was on the ascend at one point 3 weeks ago. And they found a way to stop the bleeding in 2 ways. 2-game losing streak and the Gruden thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a big win for Trevor Lawrence. I think this was a big win
absolutely
for Urban Meyer. But the Jaguars getting their first win of the season, I don't think was necessarily huge. Now, yes, there's been a lot of noise around that franchise, but to me, yeah, this one's pretty easy. This one was a win that the Raiders desperately needed, and I mean, in a division now, yeah, the Broncos, a inflated 3-2 coming in. Because they had a very weak schedule up to that point, but they are a division rival who is 3-2. That's a big win. There is no changing it. That's a big win without the Gruden stuff.
Yeah,
and let's not forget in the actual what is now with Russell Wilson hurt, the de facto best division in the NFL. Okay, at any minute now, when Patrick Mahomes resurges like EJ and I'm pretty confident he'll do. And everyone's forgetting the goddamn Chargers lately. What happened? They even beat the hell granted they got handled by Baltimore, but hey, some of us picked Baltimore to win the Super Bowl. But suddenly forgetting about Justin Herbert and company is absolutely asinine. I hope EJ has the Chargers in his top 10, and I already know he has the Cowboys too high because of this, even despite being a Patriots fan. 4th overall, but
did you read my stuff already? Did you read it?
I did. I didn't remember seeing. I couldn't get past 4 because you put the Cowboys too damn high. Much like the rent. If I had a long gray beard and you were talking about the rent, I would say it's too damn high. Okay.
I missed that guy, by the way. Rent's too damn high, party.
The rent is too damn high.
Too damn high.
I'll drop the rain of the week, buddy.
But yeah, this easily the Raiders. Yeah, I mean the Chiefs woke up in the 4th quarter on Sunday, and by all they were never going to stay down for long. I don't think there was ever any question or debate about that.
They moved up my rankings always week, one spot.
If I made power rankings, they would have moved up in mine. They would have made it 10 this week.
Maybe
he went from arguing that they're not number 10 to arguing that they're not number 10.
Hey, where? By the way, where's Matt tonight? Did Matt go searching for Ben Simmons to beat his ass?
Maybe. No. Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Did you call that shit, dude? Seriously? Oh my god,
dude, that stuff is off the rails, man. Like, I mean, I wasn't able to check in on a lot of it today. Today was a busy day, but I saw he was suspended. I was shocked that he was even reporting to Philly. Like that story has.
I actually have in mind to call him for emergency podcast on that. Honestly,
he might do it. Hit him up. But yeah, this one easily the Raiders. They needed this win. In that division. especially. But yeah, there's playoff implications, which is always more important than a team getting their very first win of the season. So
absolutely.
Let's move forward to week 7 in the National Football League. We have 6 teams on a bye this week. It is the Bills, Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, and Jaguars all on a bye this week.
Another guarantee week that Jim will not fucking freak out at all.
What's that? Because the Cowboys
don't play.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you gonna freak out for? The same.
Easy sailing this week, my friend. Easy
That's
sailing.
right.
Yep.
We go to Thursday night, just 2 nights from now. The 3-3 Denver Broncos at the 3-3 Cleveland Browns, who are a 3.5 point home favorite. 43 is your over/under on this one. 8:20 on Fox and the NFL Network. The Browns are coming in banged up, man. Running backs banged up. Beckham's banged up. Baker Mayfield's banged up. But I think they can still win this game. I probably wouldn't bet it at all. Just in general, I don't think if I was a betting person, I don't think I would touch a lot of Thursday games just because they're Thursday games. It feels like a game that the Broncos should win, but much like a lot of weeks, their fans will chant,
"Oh, the Denver Broncos."
Give me the Cleveland Browns to win and cover at home, but I will take a pitiful under the 43. Kyle.
Very good. If I was to bet anything as a degenerate, which I am not, I would definitely have bet the under on this game. Listen, at the end of the day, say what you will about the Browns. If he was playing, I would say they would be ready for Teddy. And regardless of whatever toward labrums and whatever excuses Baker himself wants to give, at the end of the day, I really do feel like the Browns will handle the business necessarily just on the strength of superior firepower. At the end of the day, the injury bug sucks for all involved, but I still think the Browns overcome. And if they don't, look out for the Cleveland fans. I'm going to see some burning jerseys coming soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly. It could feel like an all too familiar scene in Northern Ohio. EJ.
You said 3.5, right?
3.5.
Right. Yeah. I guess, if when in doubt, look at the optics, look at who's at home, short week, that kind of thing. Browns didn't travel because they played home this week as well too. So Denver is falling apart, but it seems. The optics, even with Cleveland being hurt, I still think the Browns find a way to win this game. They have a better roster, so they'll cover the spread. But I also like the under as well too. I think it'd be like a 20 to 14 game, something like that. Something that
just a touchdown and a field goal away from a bad beat.
Yeah, it's close enough. A little touchy, but not close enough.
Close enough to make degenerates nervous.
Yeah.
Then we go to Sunday at 1 o'clock on CBS. It is the 4-2 Cincinnati Bengals and that bust Jamar Chase.
I would love to call the person that called that said that. Oh my god! I want to.
Yeah,
track record guy. Just saying.
Definitely doesn't age well. At the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens, who are a 6.5 point home favorite. 47.5 is your over under on this one. Man, like I get like we saw some signs last year with Burrow that like the Bengals were on like an upward trajectory, but if I would have told you that in the second to last weekend of the month of October that a battle for first place was ensuing between the Bengals and the Ravens, I think people probably maybe wouldn't have believed it. But the Bengals are looking pretty good. They're I know EJ probably has this stat on the ready, a couple field goals away from potentially being a 5-1 or 6-0 team. But man, I just, especially seeing what they did to the Chargers this week, I can't even give the Bengals a cover in this one. I think Baltimore wins this. I think they cover the 6.5. I'll go a slide over. I think both offenses are gonna score. I don't think it's going to be a huge over, but I'll go slide over the 47.5. EJ, I'll go to you first.
Well, as a gambler, degenerate in this podcast, this is definitely a stay away game in terms of gambling. I wouldn't bet this game at all. Okay, but for the sake of what we're doing here, like the thing is what Jim said, like about the Ravens and what they did against the Chargers and whatnot. The problem is you can also see a letdown too, in a sense as well. This is a divisional game, number one. And Cincinnati, I've been watching them all year. They look like a team that's growing up. This offense is really good. And I think I mentioned this to Kyle on the show the other day. And Justin Herbert deserves all the credit he's getting. He's definitely probably a top 5 guy in the league. But Joe Burrow all of a sudden became underrated. Same draft class, remember that. And he's just doing his job and doing it well. I'm going to take Cincinnati the points here, honestly.
Okay.
I think Baltimore wins the game. Just for the record, they win the game. But I'll take Cincinnati the points. And what's the over on this one again?
I have it at 47.5.
Oh boy, that's perfect, actually.
I'll say that's a good number, isn't it?
You know what? I'll go over on this one.
Like I like those games. I remember there was a few times last year doing the show with my brother where we were like, "Oh man, that's a real good number."
Fucking nailed it, man.
You're like, man, that's they knew what they're doing. They knew what they're doing.
Fucking nailed it.
Kyle, how about you?
Keep your damn points. Are you kidding me? You think a touchdown is enough? I'm just chilling with the stepdad. No, are you high? Gosh, man, listen. You're going to tell me that it's a possible letdown, and in the very next sentence, you say it's a divisional game in the AFC North. That is not how things work. This isn't the NFC East. This is the AFC North.
Understandable, but Kyle, we've seen also the Ravens this year, throughout the year, have some letdown games to themselves. They win them. Detroit, for example. Remember Detroit?
That's the NFC North, not the AFC North.
I'm just saying that.
I thought you might have gotten mixed up. I'm just asking.
Right, but yeah.
No. If there's a letdown, it would be a physical one. Someone would have to be hurt. That's what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, Cincinnati's not coached by Dan the Man Campbell either. I'm not
Man Campbell. Get it right, Man Campbell.
No, I don't want to steal from Dan LeBron.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh, he's older than 40, but he's still
Gundy.
Yes, no, the best damn mullet in college football.
And he gets down too.
No, but I can't share your faith in the Bengals, even as somebody who was a Joe Burrow guy, much like me. He's the only quarterback I didn't put in the top 10 that's in that similar class, but simply because Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert are doing what they're doing. Okay. Also, the Ravens have more dimensions to their game than just Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Mixon's great and everything, but listen, Lamar Demetrius Jackson, the league MVP.
Again.
Yeah, I know. That's the second time tonight I had to show up.
I'm proud of you, kid.
I'm proud, and thank you for bringing it to me so it actually stuck. But yeah, at the end of the day, Lamar Demetrius Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, shall we move on?
You're a goddamn genius.
I told you I was going to wait for it until EJ got here just so he could be reminded. All right, let's go. Sunday, 1:00 on CBS, the 3-3 Chiefs are a 4.5-point road favorite at the 4-2 Tennessee Titans. I can't believe they won that game last night, but
neither can they.
Here we are nonetheless. 56 is your over under on this one. Look, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how they did it last night. I've said it. The Titans are a sham of a 4-2 team. They're a benefit of being in a horrible division. The Chiefs, it didn't look great for 2.5+ quarters on Sunday, even still in Washington. But somewhere along the line, they look like they started to figure it out. And I don't know if it's they for a long time were kind of playing with the swagger of a team that is on top, and they know they're on top, and now they're being humbled a little bit, and they remember what it's like. I don't know what exactly snapped in their head. But that fourth quarter on Sunday, the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs we expected them to be. I expect that to continue this week. Give me the Chiefs plus. I'll take the over. Just the Chiefs are going to score points, and the Chiefs' biggest problem is their defense or the lack thereof. So Derrick Henry will probably find ways to score touchdowns because that's just what he does. So I'll take the over 56. Kyle.
Listen, I love you mentioning Derrick Henry. He's one of my top 3 MVP candidates. This is not the game where you worry about him. That's right, I said it. Oh, no, don't worry. The Chiefs defense is going to, as the 31st ranked in basically everything. But at the end of the day, who I expect to eat is Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, of course, will theoretically be recovered from the food poisoning he alleges he gets from eating at Chipotle. But I think the passing game is too big a factor. And keep in mind, when the Titans have Julio Jones in the game, they can actually land big plays of 40 yards or above in the air. I'm not saying Derrick Henry won't get his touches. He damn sure will. They got to do something to try to keep Patrick Mahomes II off the field. But Ryan Tannehill can bomb the damn ball. People keep forgetting when he's protected, the ball's projected. I just came with that right then. You like that?
I like that. That's good.
Play to win the game.
Well, of course. And at the end of the day, listen, the only thing I can tell you for a fact with this game is take the damn over. And if you're left to a shootout like it looks like is going to form up here, it's Patrick Mahomes II with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce versus Ryan Tannehill and a pair of great receivers. I am going to take the half billion dollar quarterback every time in that pairing.
Easy. EJ.
The play is easy here. The play is to take the over, first off. They're going to smash the over. Put it at 60, they're going to get the over. I'm dead serious. It's going to be in the 30s. The problem is, the question is going to be which Tennessee team shows up. Because this is the problem. Tennessee now gets some goodwill because they beat Buffalo, albeit Buffalo had a chance to win that game. Let's put it that way. I mean, a lot of mistakes there.
Oh, EJ, we lost you there for a second.
Oh, I know.
Hold on, he's trying to send in the team to raid the building.
That is a disgusting act.
There we go.
I hate me in my situation. Sorry about that. Anyway, which Tennessee team shows up, who knows? So I'll go with the try and true here. Over, obviously, slam the over. That's the bet here. Over. Was it KC the favorite again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, KC at 4.5.
In KC.
Yeah.
It's in Tennessee.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, stop it.
No, I said because
don't you do
this is the same. No, because last week Buffalo was a 5.5 point dog at home as well too against Buffalo. Tennessee was a dog against Buffalo. So same situation here. Fuck it, give me Mahomes and company. Let's go.
There you go.
But the move is the over here. You bet the over.
God dang it, Bobby.
All right. Our final game for the week is the 2-4 Indianapolis Colts. They are on the road at 2-3 San Francisco, who are a 3.5 point home favorite. 45 is your over/under on this one Sunday at 8:20 on NBC. This is what I mean by I had a hard time scraping together 4 games for this week. And the only reason I put this where I did is because if the Colts can find a way to win this game, they will only be 1 game out of first in what is a just abysmal division. Everybody want to keep talking about the NFC East being terrible, and I'm not denying that the NFC East is a bad division, but people keep sleeping on the AFC South, which is my point. I don't know what condition the 49ers are in. Kyle, you probably have a better answer.
No, don't be so sure, Chief.
Maybe a better answer on that. For me, I'm going to play momentum here. Right now, Carson Wentz and that Colts offense with Jonathan Taylor just being an absolute monster in the backfield. For the time being, the wide receiver weapons for the Colts are healthy. T.Y. Hilton is back. So like I said, for at least 1 week and a half, he's healthy. So roll with it while you can. I'm going to take the Colts here to cover and to win this game. I don't know if a 2-4 beating a 2-3 can be considered an upset, but do with that what you will. I will go the over too. I mean, I think the Colts are going to be able to score points. The 49ers are going to have to try at least if they're going to keep up with them. So I'll take an over on this one. But I like the Colts on this Sunday night. Kyle, we'll go to you.
I can't blame you for thinking any of that. There's so many unknowns here, and I might be accused of homerism here, but there are a couple things I feel like that are left out. A, I don't give a damn what you say about the 49ers. At the end of the day, their defensive front is still goddamn stout. Okay, and you're putting an injury-prone quarterback in front of that, and praying Jonathan Taylor can either block or carry the weight in its stead. That's tough. The only thing that's tougher, Darius Leonard and company versus a rookie quarterback. There are a pair of no-win scenarios on the field here, Big Jim, okay? Let's be clear, okay? This game, I'm titling it right now, Kobayashi Maru. Do not bet it except the under, okay? That being said, the only thing I think that really goes in favor of the 49ers would be coaching here, right? If there's anything that's going to be creative, I could definitely put a Shanahan on it to turn somebody who can run into the sky and do something sneaky and make a few things happen. That being said, I'm picking the 49ers on instinct, and I have no real confidence in it to speak of. I'm pretty confident to bet the under. It's about all I can give you. But I wouldn't even, again, do not bet this game. Anything I'm saying. I'm just here to be enabler for your nasty habit if you are a degenerate. Boom.
The price is wrong.
Oh, it reloaded the soundboard at the absolute worst time.
It really did.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Thank you.
You sounded like network television for a minute there. What the hell, Jim?
Like, what did I just get this censor button dropped on me? EJ, go ahead.
You talk about scraping games. This is actually a sneaky, huge game. I'm dead serious because
you're right.
No, because think about this a second. We're starting to see teams come to earth now in terms of the wild card situation in both conferences. So even though this is an interconference game, this kind of has like a lose town feel to it. The winner of this game is going to be in a better position now to actually vie for wild card position. If you're the Colts, especially because the Titans are the Titans. Now, granted, they did beat Buffalo, so they did their job this week. But had they lost that game, now you're in a situation where the Colts were on the verge of tying the Titans if they lose to the KC. Maybe it's not going to happen now. The point is, both these teams are in situations now where if they win this game, this could propel them to get in the wild card. Because, again, like we discussed last week in the NFC with Russell Wilson being out, that opens the door for another 2-3, 3-3 team didn't sneak in there. The AFC, the Browns come to earth a little bit, a couple teams come to earth in the AFC. So this is actually a bigger game than people give credit for. This is a huge game. So that being said, I don't know who I can't figure out the Niners. I just can't pin around. I know they're a solid team. Kyle says correct. The line is stout as fuck. But I just don't know about everything else. The quarterbacks. Who's starting? Is Garoppolo this week, or is it going to be?
I really do think Trey Lance is still going to start. I don't think Garoppolo would be in the right health status at this point, but I don't really know either. So.
And what I've seen from Indy the last 3 weeks, granted, wins against Dolphins, wins against the Texans, I get it, but I've seen a team that's finally figured out who they are a little bit. So, I hate to say, I like Indy. I like Indy here.
I think for the Colts, I think you're as good as Jonathan Taylor is. The guy looks like a monster right now, but I still think the success and it's a scary prospect. Now I know he's looking better, confident. I don't know what all was going on in Philadelphia. I'm not here to piss off any Eagles fans or anything like that. But something seemed off with that relationship. Carson Wentz looks like a guy who has a new lease on life. He definitely looks like the guy that
when healthy, yes.
That they drafted. And I mean the Eagles have had and even look at their Super Bowl year. And I'm not talking about just Carson Wentz. Like the Eagles have had a long run of injury issues. I don't know if I don't know if it's a conditioning thing. I don't know if it's a strength thing. I don't know what's going on with that organization, but
bad environment.
They have had a long run of injury problems. So I don't know if Carson Wentz if he is injury prone or if it was a product of being in that organization. I don't know. We're gonna find that out potentially as the season plays out. But Carson Wentz looks healthy. He looks like a guy that looks like the guy that everybody thought he was going to be.
I'll say this about the Mercedes-Benz. If you want an understanding or a case study on how your injuries being a thing and other people being injured around you being a thing, okay, y'all saw what happened to Andrew Luck, ironically. And now he's in that. Now he's playing for that organization. The difference is he's got Quentin Nelson and company. Listen, exactly. That Notre Dame O-line coaching change has actually turned out to be a very devastating thing for your program, but it did produce the anchor of the line that's in front of him. And I don't even think Quentin Nelson's on the field right now. Okay. So that O-line is a vast improvement to what the Eagles could keep as a healthy product in front of him. And I love the point you make that finally somebody else is saying we could call the Mercedes-Benz injury prone all you like. So is everybody else around him, for the love of Pete. Okay.
Right. I mean, I see it because I live around here. I live in central Pennsylvania. So a lot of my friends are Eagles fans. So I see far more Eagles coverage than I ever need to. But like because of that, you can see a trend. I mean, when you're talking starting around week 7, week 8, every single year, injuries piling up. If
it even takes that long.
Right. If it doesn't start sooner, but like every year you're like, you hear, I wish I had $1 for every time I heard the line from an Eagles fan. Man, we did pretty well considering how banged up we were.
No, you don't want to do that because you'd have to change your political status. You'd have to tax yourself.
Well, but so it's just it is what it is with that organization. I don't know what exactly it is, and we'll see if it remains to be the case with yet another new coaching staff. But that hadn't changed it in the past. So, it's an interesting game for a Sunday night. Like if this game was at 1:00, I don't know that I would have. I don't know that I would have picked it out of the bunch because it's just another game on a Sunday slate that you're catching most people are catching parts of it on Red Zone. But when you're forced to watch this game, it becomes a little bit more different and it becomes a little bit more interesting. As we wind things up here, I want to circle back to the first topic because I'm curious to see what you have for our first topic from the night, as you obviously missed the first part of the show, and that's our weekly college football top 6. No, it's all good, man. We all have things going on. But I'll give mine. Kyle will give his, just as a reminder, and then we'll let you hit yours. Going from 6 to 1 on mine, I had Ohio State at 6, Michigan at 5, Cincinnati 4, Oklahoma 3, begrudgingly Alabama at number 2, and Georgia is obviously my number 1 team in college football right now. Kyle, remind the people and let EJ know what your top 6 is.
Number 6, I had the Oklahoma Sooners. Number 5, I had Ohio State. Number 4, I had Jim's wife's Michigan Wolverines. Number 3, I had Alabama. Or actually, no, I think I had Michigan 3rd. Excuse me. I had Alabama 4th, Michigan 3rd, making Jim's wife's evening a little better even on top of that. And then the Cincinnati Chick-fil-A Bearcats at number 2, and Georgia at the top spot.
Number 1 had Iowa. No joking.
Iowa. Put the fake ID away, son.
I know.
It's a disgusting act.
You can get arrested for that.
No, I actually needed 4 because today we did the playoff 4 now podcast as well too. The bottom 2 I didn't hear. Georgia, of course, number 1, 2 Cincy, 3 Michigan as well too, 4 Bama, 5 fucking Ohio State.
I'll say I'm not happy about it either. I have him at 6 and I'm still not happy about it.
Reading off my paper again, aren't you?
6 by default. 6. I hate to say it again. 6 by default.
You can say Michigan State. You can be different.
You have that Big 12 team. You have 3 fucking Big 10 teams there. I mean, come on.
Oh no, talking the ish. Okay.
Oklahoma. I mean, seriously, it's boring.
Well, like I said, I had Oklahoma at 3. I said I think they'll find their way out of that spot. But
I believe you said they'll find their way to Iowa. if I remember correctly.
So yeah, Cowboys.
They are what we thought they were.
But yeah, I think it's because in this house, we are still very skeptical. Like I said, the Nebraska game, it was a game that for a couple of years in a row, Michigan loses that game. So we're in this house, we support each other. We want success for the other one's team, unless we're playing each other, which we aren't doing again for a foreseeable future.
By the way, you better not throw me up as a jinx if Michigan does not do their job.
No. But it's a skeptical situation. We're looking at this, it's like, oh my, like this is scary. We don't know what this is like, because for a few years, like you get to this point of the season, and for one reason or the next, that team finds their way out of that spot. Where this year, they're continuing to climb. Like I said, they win a game that they necessarily wouldn't have done. For a few years in a row, it's been my team that I've been going, we're in this conversation, and we're not even anywhere close to the conversation, nor should we be. I'm not going to pretend that we are. I mean, Notre Dame's sitting at 13th in the AP, and I'm like, are they really?
And the only reason why that happened is because Iowa against Purdue, and they happen to be on your side.
Right.
It is the biggest damn bunch of
Notre
crap.
Dame has a win against a top 25 team now. Let me remind you that.
Great. And now FSU is more credible because of it, just like Jacksonville State. Thank you, Notre Dame. Thank you.
It's just silly.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
But yeah, I don't even know if Notre Dame is the 13th best team in the country, but that's a whole another.
Yeah, you do. They're not. Stop it.
Unfortunate battle for me in and of itself, but it is in this house. It is also beat SC week, and dear God, they better beat USC this week.
I hate USC so much.
But it's fucking. That's why instead of a Cowboys jersey, I am rocking the Irish because it's beat SC week. But Kyle, EJ, do you guys have anything else you want to hit on before we close this thing up this week?
Yes, I do. It's now also become Luke Fickell in Louisiana week with the divorce settlement between LSU and Coach Ogeron. And listen, I'm hoping that LSU does well enough to make either the Camping World Bowl or the Citrus Bowl, so I can be at the stadium and having my first. The same place as I had my first press conference as a college credentialed writer, also be the last press conference with him at LSU. Coach Ogeron, maybe I could shake his hand real quick and be like, sir, I'll have you know I've had you for 5 press conferences, the 6-7 years, I'm losing count now, that I've been covering college games, credentialed, and damn it, you're entertaining every single time.
So, okay, where do you think – let's start here. Where do you think he coaches next? Or there's a lot of weird buzz around that man that I imagine sounds like a real fun dude to spend a weekend with.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Well,
but there's because one of my thoughts was, does he end up back at USC? But apparently USC doesn't want to touch that with the 10.
No, and really the only reason why he was a head coach there at all was because he was an acting head coach. He's just not a cultural fit,
He'll take a few years off, I think, and then he'll come back.
Do you think he's going to take time off from a head coaching role? Like, do you think he just lets the dust settle a bit?
Well, EJ, you make the point that you made with us for Bomani Jones, and then you can officially speak to why I think he will take time off.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on around him in that program right now. There's an investigation, Title IX investigation about LSU, and now and some things about things not being reported about sexual harassment, all that stuff, and that he didn't necessarily take seriously, allegedly anyway. He's had some issues, also personal issues. Like I found out today that he after he won a national title 18 months ago, he got divorced 3 weeks later, and a lot of complaints is, aside from the losing, of course, LSU not playing, New York football, of course, having girlfriends or multiple girlfriends at practice and all that stuff. A lot of drama in general. So I think he can take a little time off, let the dust settle down. He's gonna be owed $17 million once this is over. Enjoy the money, enjoy the chicks, all that, and then you'll come back a couple of years and let bygones be bygones. As long as nothing devastating comes out in this investigation, of course.
Yes, do his best to not be the other coach at that same press conference
Right.
that I mentioned. That was my first as a credentialed college writer, Bobby Petrino.
I will say, Because I will say this much though. Say about Eric Orgeron and about and about what he is, and he obviously he that team won the title 2 years ago, whatever, and
Best statistical offense ever.
Correct. He had all the help around him, Joe Brady, and all that stuff, but he has a good brand. His brand is actually pretty decent. The whole Go Tigers thing and all that stuff, and he has a nice little brand around him. Man. I think this one a branding. There will be a school or two that actually might put a feeler out there because of the attention he'll bring. If Lane can get fucking jobs left and right, and Bobby Petrino get jobs left and right, why couldn't Ed Orgeron? Just on name value alone.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Thanks.
So
one point. Ding, ding, ding.
I'll give it to you.
Even though he showed up late and he's only made one good point in his entire life.
One. I'm the tool.
Listen, Binford, settle down. So what I'm going to say is also this. It won't happen. Okay, it won't happen. But if he doesn't go back to college and he's an analyst, God bless America.
Dude.
I am here for it.
All right. So obviously LSU needs a head coach. Who are some names that you see coming up in that search? Potentially, I know in this region, I've already heard James Franklin's name being thrown around.
That's a big job. That's one of the best jobs in the country, LSU.
It is.
Seriously, that's one of the big jobs.
You'll get supported, certainly. You're in the third, you're in the top, you're the third or fourth best recruiting ground in the United States per capita.
Yeah.
Behind Florida, California, and Texas, right? And golly, you could definitely do a lot worse than LSU, no question. Great fan base, all that.
Would not shock me if Lane Kiffin's name. We've heard some buzzwords about Lane Kiffin too. I wouldn't shock me if he's done up as head coach there.
Right, but Lane. Wait, did you say Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin?
No, that's not going to happen.
Lane.
No, I'm saying don't be surprised if it happens. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I don't even think they'll float the name. You're going to hear the Chad Greenwells, Coastal Carolina. For those who don't know, you're going to hear Luke Fickell, Cincinnati. I still think it's going to be a relatively unknown that fills the spot at the end of the day, simply because that's the state of coaching right now, the coaching confines. Everyone keeps throwing, at least they're done with throwing out Lincoln Riley and Bill Cowher, for Christ's sake. Okay?
You find out all the obvious names the last 10, 15 years that got older and bringing a new, maybe Joe Brady. Where's Joe Brady right now currently?
Joe Brady?
Yeah, the old OC for LSU from 2 years ago.
I have no idea.
He gets all the credit for what happened with Joe Burrow and all that.
Certainly now he does, right?
Well, he does, yeah. So where's he at now currently?
I have no idea.
Okay, Jim, do you know?
I have no clue.
Because I mean, if he's
I thought you were just throwing the name Brady around because it's so close to your heart and mind. But come on, Joe Brady right now. Ooh, Joe Brady's actually in Carolina. Okay, with as it was,
he's the OC in Carolina.
Okay,
so it would not shock me if he was the next guy. Looked, he's 32 years old, number one, and I mean, he gets a lot of credit for that team winning the title. So,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked in the least if he wasn't contacted.
Was it that job? It was a big job.
And I mean, like I said, in this area, anytime a coaching job opens up, all my Penn State fan friends are just, oh, they're going to bring up James Franklin as I do my best.
They are going to bring him up. Franklin's not going anywhere, guys.
No, and I don't like. I think he is in a great spot at Penn State because he has done enough with a program that needed a guy like him and needed a guy to change the culture at Penn State, because Bill O'Brien coming in after Joe Paterno, with everything that went on at Penn State, just it was a weird vibe. Like, James Franklin kind of turned that program upside down. There's a different swagger, there's a different feel to the James Franklin Penn State Nittany Lions, and
he's Teflon there. He's tough right now in this moment. He's Teflon. Like the only thing
exactly,
out there
exactly. He's won a Big Ten title since he's been there. He's had some big upsets that they've won. Now they've lost some games that they probably shouldn't have, but I don't think he is going anywhere for the time being. I think he loves the spot that he's in.
For the Penn State fans that are going to say that, I have the ultimate therapy that you could offer them, Jim. You want people bringing that name up. You want people talking about James Franklin, the Colin Cowards, the whoever's, the what have yous, because the more pressure that he's able to apply on Penn State in the program, the more likely it is he's going to get exactly what he wants as a contract, and therefore he will be going precisely nowhere.
That is true.
It's counterintuitive, but I'm telling you.
Same thing happened with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame.
Correct.
Because there was a few years in a row where every time an NFL job opened up or a big college job opened up, it was, is Brian Kelly going to be the next guy coaching the Philadelphia Eagles? Is Brian Kelly going to be the next guy coaching the Arizona Cardinals? And eventually it just got to the point where Brian Kelly basically signed a lifetime contract and was like, I'm going to retire here, bitches.
Yeah.
and I'm all better for it.
I will say, though, and I agree with what you're saying about Franklin, but this is one of the few jobs in the country that would pull somebody away from where they're at currently to go.
That's a great segue by you, sir, because when Michigan officially Michigans and they actually fire Harbaugh finally, can you imagine a Jim Harbaugh in LSU? Because I sure can.
I sure can.
If Michigan is that dumb to make that mistake, I hope they don't. But
by the way, that my new helmet.
Yeah,
I love it. You look great in just plain gold, EJ.
Fuck you.
You look great.
Garnet and gold, not gold Irish. Garnet.
Oh no, the blue and gold looks good on you, EJ.
That spear got broken some time ago. You're better off putting an SF on it.
There you go, right there. First round draft pick. Sorry.
For what? The beer bowl.
Let's close this thing up. I think we had a good solid show this week.
Yeah, I had a great show. Hour and a half. I made it. Whew, wow.
Yes. Okay, EJ, make sure you listen back to the first half. In no way, shape, or form did we dunk on you for the first hour.
I love
it. But EJ, let people know where they can follow and keep track of everything that you do.
Of course, on Twitter, EJ7. Subscribe to the Earth Weekend podcast, where these two guys always appear on my show quite often. Also, my wrestling podcast, Take the Wrestling Podcast, comes out every Friday. Other than that, that's about it, man. Well, it was fun. As always, it's always fun with you guys.
Love it, as always. I feel like I talk to you guys more than I talk to most people in my life.
Lucky you.
Kyle, where roll out the red carpet.
I was about to say, that's your list?
You may not like. It's like the Macho Man meme. You may not like it, but accept it.
Yeah, right. If that's your list, do you even lift, bro? Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, a student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, the SOTG. You can find me on Instagram as the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my work with the 3pointconversion.com. That's the number 3, not the letter 3. Yeah, I know that 3 isn't a letter, but you could write it out with letters,
Ding.
My kindergartner can spell 3. Figure that out. Anyways, of course, find me as well on the Earnestly Speaking podcast. Find me also on Hilarity by default on YouTube. I know EJ doesn't watch it because it's actually a video. But
No. I'm subscribed. Shut the fuck up. I'm subscribed, motherfucker. Shut up.
He has to because it's not in podcast form. That's right.
I use it all the time, though, buddy. Come on.
Hey, buddy. No, by the way, feel free to go on Twitter and harangue my good. I'm not your buddy, friend. Please feel free to harangue my friend Demosthenes Euclid at Default Hilarity if you do want to see it in podcast form that bad, EJ. That might help. Of course. Check out also my work with the Captain and Company morning show on oldschool101.com and A7BM Sports with Captain Chris Hill. And listen, I know Beyond the Buzzer has not been on a bit lately, but my good friend Danny Thompson is moving and shaking, and soon we will return, as right now he is busy trying to do his work with WNIS in South Carolina. I know, the Kakalaki's got a new man on the sports airwaves, and he's doing great things there.
How long has it been with you guys? On 2-3 weeks now?
What? I think we did one 2 weeks ago, and that was after like a 6-week break. Listen, Danny Thompson's personal life has been him on assignment, constantly handling business. At the end of the day, though, that we'll be back, and he will certainly be in a better space.
And the NBA's back on top of that, so it's even worse now. The NBA's back now, so it's gonna be even worse.
Yeah, and maybe EJ will finally use his proper meme and or YouTube clip
wrong one
to actually talk about the NBA. As somebody who's also a wrestling fan.
I did that last night for 2 hours with Zach and Chris, the Over-Unders podcast.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I know it's coming. You fucker.
The irony that we talk about the NBA and then you dunk on EJ. Go for the win,
you did a theory report today with the NBA talk. Not me. You decided to talk about Kyrie.
Yeah, I had to be your therapist, bitch. What? Go Heat.
I know. Go Heat, bitch.
See how I did it backwards? Bitch, go Heat. You like that?
Bitch, go Heat. I like it.
Gotta love it, guys. Thank you again. As always, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports. Make sure you're following along with the show. We are at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. We are at Huddle Up Pod on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, to our show on all podcast platforms. Make sure you go ahead and check out the merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. Check out our home network, NGSC Sports, at ngscsports.com. Our secondary home is the Leap Sports and Music Network, LEEIB Sports.com. Until next week, when begrudgingly I bring these guys back on the airwaves to fight with me as always. But I love them. Stay safe, stay smart, and go for the win.